Hi, hello there. Good morning, good afternoon. Oh, we're wearing black together. Oh, we're twinning. This is Comfy and Unfiltered podcast. I'm here with somebody that I love. I've been watching him from afar, always stalking him on TikTok. The moment he will post, I'm the first to like. No, I'm not. But yeah, we're here to talk on Comfy and Unfiltered. We talk about lifestyle, health, life journey. We talk about positivity, and we get to be comfortable. That is why this couch is so big, so that you can even roll in it, you can jump in it, you can yes, you can do that in it. Yes. So for me, I know your name, but somebody doesn't know you. So who are you and what do you do?
Well, so my name is Luis Appiah-Kubi. I am a licensed clinical psychologist. So many people call me Dr. Luis.
Oh, that's so cute.
I worked hard for that degree.
Yes, you did. Please, right. Dr. Luis.
my day job as a clinical psychologist, I do evaluations for ADHD, autism, learning disorders, and the like. So, yeah.
So today we're going to go into what you do, March. So we're going to be talking about the myth about autism. When you see some of the myths and people talk about, what do you think? What comes in your mind?
So there are some of them that I have to go, oh, come on now. Like,
are you for real?
Even the most, I don't know the word for it, but like, this can't possibly make sense. You know, so there are some of those. And then there are others too that I get it. I get why people would think that, you know, because in their minds this happened and then this happened, so maybe, you know. So I am open to, for people who would believe me, because it's my job and it's what I do. I'm open to hopefully putting people's minds at ease about certain things. But there are some of them that's like, come on. You know.
Yeah, so if you didn't know my name, I forgot to mention my name, my precious lovely name. Since he added doctor, maybe I'm gonna say, what is the next
after doctor?
After doctor,
actually there isn't. Depending if you
okay,
are a professor,
so
then people,
so my name is Doctor
Dr. Emeritus.
Evangelist.
Apostle.
My name is Ohemaa Nana Ama. You can add the doctor with another doctor.
Actually, the Ohemaa Nana
Ama is already.
I think that to be an Ohemaa,
you have to be Nana.
In the Fanti area, where you're Ohemaa, you're already Nana.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. So
Ohemaa Nana is already double.
Yeah, let's add the doctor just so to add spice in it, you know. Yeah, so we're talking about the myth about autism. And you said that some of it when you hear about it, like, what the heck? Can position of sex cause autism?
So some of them will just say yes, no, and then keep it moving.
Yeah, no.
For this one,
no. Okay.
Yeah, next one.
So, the myth of autism. What are some of that you've heard that you want to talk about, especially in the Ghanaian community, that we say this person is in Shuba, the fact that they are not talking, you know, on some of the spectrum, some of them do not walk, they do not, and some autism even come with cerebral palsy and stuff. So,
Ohemaa, let's do this.
Okay.
So first off, if we're talking about autism, let's try to get a sense of what autism is.
Is okay.
Okay. So autism is a neurodevelopmental disorder, right? So that means that for folks who have it, they've had it since child, you're born with it. But the actual symptoms of autism are, altogether, there are 7 of them.
Okay.
3 of them are social. That is, if you're interacting with a person, the free-flowing conversations is typically, it's not there. Like, the social skills are limited.
Yeah.
They typically have limited nonverbal skills, right? So you won't get them kind of interacting with you, looking at you, seeing your bodily cues. They struggle in developing, maintaining, and understanding relationships, right? So if you can meet this person and say, "Oh, this is your uncle," and to them it's like, oh, "Okay." If they don't live with them and they don't know you like that, the fact that you are an uncle makes no difference to them.
Yes.
Right? You know, that understanding of relationships, especially when they're younger, isn't there. Those are the 3 main symptoms that we have to see. After that, there is restricted behaviors. That means, like I said, like they like things certain way. If you change a little bit,
Yeah.
a tantrum. And then there is restricted interest, so these are some of the times when the kid would have, or the person would have certain things that they're so interested in that that's all they are into, that's what they talk about.
Yes.
And then there's the repetitive behaviors. That's when you see things like like hand flapping, finger tapping, rocking, repetition of words. And then the last one is sensory issues. So it can be significant preference for certain sensory things. So they're always chewing on something because they want to soothe their mouth, or sensory high sensitivity to sensory things. So you can be in a place with them and they're like, that's too loud.
Yeah.
It's like, we're all sitting here, we don't think it's that loud, but they feel it so loud. Or, textural things, or the same thing that everybody eats, for them is like, I cannot stand this texture. Right? So the first three, the social ones, those need to be present, and then 2 of these 4 have to be present. So these are the actual symptoms of autism.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So if you take autism alone, like, where is all of the sober conversation from?
Okay.
Right? Cerebral palsy is a thing on its own. It's a thing on its own. And somebody can have autism and cerebral palsy. Right? So whenever we diagnose somebody with autism, we have to decide, okay, we do level 1, level 2, level 3. And just as the name suggests, effectively suggests like mild, moderate, severe. And then also we have to say, does a person have intellectual, disability as well? Do they have language issues as well? So that's what we do. So there could be somebody who has autism with no intellectual disability, no language issues, and no other, genetic condition. And that person, if they don't tell you, and if it's level 1 autism, if they don't tell you,
you will never know.
Right. And then there's somebody who may have autism level 3. They may have difficulties with language. They're probably still not talking yet. They may have intellectual disability and Down syndrome and cerebral palsy and Turner syndrome and other things. But many times when people think about autism, they think about
they mix everything.
The person who has level 3 can talk, has intellectual disability, has cerebral palsy, and all of those things. That's what people think about. That's not what autism is. Autism in itself is what we talked about earlier.
I'm just excited we are talking about this, so because many it's like it's like, oh, wow, Nsioba, you've given birth to somebody that does not talk, and like those days they have to take this kid to a fetish priest and all those things. But then if there was much education that this is a neural thing, let's take them to the hospital, let's get them a therapist that can figure out what is going on. I think that will help a lot of kids, especially those in a community that is now developing. It would have helped. As we talked about all these, let's say, what are some of the signs to look out to notice that this is a sign of my kid from like maybe close to 6 months to 2 years? What are some of the things you should look out?
Well, so if you're a parent, especially if you're a new parent, your best friend should be your child's pediatrician.
Okay.
Right. So anytime you attend, whether it be the 3-month visit, the 6-month visit, the 1-year visit, 3-year visit, effectively anytime you go in there, you talk to the doctor about everything you're seeing. Don't hide anything. Right. And if your child is not talking or doing certain things by the age they're supposed to be doing it, then your doctor will bring your attention to it. Or if you bring your doctor's attention to it, then the doctor will go, okay, some of these things look like autism, some of these things look like this, and then they would refer you to a professional. Right. So especially if you're in a diaspora that you have access to some of these things, your child's pediatrician is your best friend. I cannot give you enough things here to
look out for.
Right. But if you actually are observing your child and talking to your doctor about it, that's your best bet. That's one. And then the next thing, the reason why I first wanted to put that across is that even though we'll talk about some things to look out for, it's not every time that's what
That
you see that
sounds
it
like,
means
yeah.
their child is going to have autism, right? So I don't want anybody who's at home and maybe their child is not talking at a certain age freaking out and be like, oh, does that mean my child is, is autistic?
Yeah, maybe
No.
speech delay.
Exactly, right? You talk to your doctor about it. But yes, people with autism, sometimes the first signs we see are difficulties with speech. So typically, most children begin to give us some words, from about 10 months or to about age 2. So if your child is, going 2 years or so and they're still not talking, they're still not giving you 2 words, and you're not seeing the language develop that way, you talk to your child's pediatrician, and then they will look at what's going on. So yes, speech delay is one of the things that we first see. There's other developmental issues such as potty training. Your child is 4, 5,
and they cannot,
wet in the bed, and they don't necessarily understand what's going on, right? Because a child who talks and understands it, and the minute they wake up, they're already ashamed. The bed is slightly different from the one that doesn't even know
what it is.
what it is, and then for people who are more on the mild side of the spectrum, what you're going to see is as they get older, they are not very good in their social interactions. You go to the park with them. You go to the park with them, and it's like almost like, well, what did you bring me here? These people are there, but I don't care to play with.
Yeah, I'm not interested.
When they go to preschool, you get reports that every time they're in their own corner doing their own things, they don't play with their age mates. They like to do things with the teachers instead, and stuff like that. So their social skills are limited, or you're going to see that rigid behavior. But many of us who think akrana sorting.
Yeah.
My daughter, for example, for a long time, if you're coming into the house, I think she still does it. If we're coming into the house and we don't use the garage door, she would cry for minutes and hours, sometimes up to about an hour. All she needs, because we have a side door, right? So if there's a car in the garage already and you just want to use a side door, problem.
Yes.
On the average person's like, when I bet baby, are you the one going to tell me where to go inside my own house? That's what they do. You do too much, that every day it's an issue.
Yeah.
Sometimes things like that are, symptoms of autism. Sometimes you think your child is a picky eater. Sometimes it's a sensory thing.
Yeah, the texture.
And for a child with autism, you think if he's hungry enough, he'll come and eat. Understand? Because they won't eat it. Because the way the sensory issues, in my mind at least, the way the sensory issues affect them is, it's like somebody saying, I've given you Gary, but you put it in your mouth and it feels like sand.
Perfect.
No matter how hungry you are, you are not going to eat something and swallow something that feels like sand.
Yeah.
So sometimes those are some of the things that you will see as they're growing up. But again, let me say it again.
It doesn't,
talk to your child's pediatrician so they can then refer you to a specialist to look into it.
From what we're talking about sensory and stuff, I think that one thing also is check your child's body language to know what is happening, because I've seen kids that when you give them something, the moment it gets into your mouth, they're like, they don't want to take it out, but then they show signs that it feels something
in your mouth.
Even when the moment they see like you putting pudding on a plate, to them it looks like yuck. So I think that will also help looking at all those things.
If it all comes down to paying attention to the kiddos and talking to their doctor, right? There are certain things that you talk to the doctors about and they'll say, oh yeah, that's normal. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with talking to your doctor. I would rather you get to talk and you ask your doctor and your doctor says that's normal than you ignoring it thinking it's normal when in fact it's not.
Wow. We're gonna get to the mate, but then there is like that kid that have that sensory need that always objectify some things. Like, I like Mario, I like that, and because of that, mom feels like, oh, you're always on that particular character and you want everything to relate with that, when you have to leave out of that. What are some of the things you're going to tell them, and how they can regulate those kind of interests into every aspect of their lives? Like, if I know somebody that loves Cinderella. If I'm a kid that have autism and I love Cinderella, what should my parent do to make me excited to even eat, to even have that social skills like going out and all those things?
Well, so there are two things. When your child has autism, especially if you know your child has autism, there are two things to do. I mean, you can do. Try not to force your child to be like other kids.
Thank you.
Right? Because that's too much.
Thank you.
Too much for you. That's too much for them. So if they're into Cinderella, they like playing with Cinderella. They like doing things related to Cinderella. Don't try to get them to try out
Rapunzel. Yeah, Snow White.
Sometimes it's a phase. They'll be very, very much into it, but it will pass.
Yeah.
But if it's not there's nothing inherently wrong with Cinderella. Right? So if your child is into something that the thing itself isn't bad, like why are you trying to get them to stop?
Yeah.
Now if there's something that they've been doing and it's going to hurt them, it's going to hurt other people when they're around other kids, or in some cases as unfortunate as it is, you feel like if Mijana no do equal square best friend and stuff like that, and you don't want your child to go through that, I can get trying to kind of move them away from it, but otherwise let them do them, right? Because for the average kid with autism, the environment isn't made for them, right? So life is hard enough without you trying to
make it much harder.
The one thing that I actually like to do away from me because it makes you uncomfortable. Yeah, so if it's something that they're into, let them. And if you want to introduce new things to them, it has to be slowly, and you give it to them as a choice, as opposed to kind of forcing the issue. You understand?
Yeah.
So they're into Cinderella. You want to introduce them to Rapunzel. Okay. When you buy a Cinderella toy for them, you buy a Rapunzel toy as well. You leave it there. If they explore it, great. If they don't, great. If you live in the US or in other places in the diaspora, try and get it from places that you can return it. So about 15 days, they don't like it, you take it back. You try something else. It's a similar thing with food. You find something that they like to eat. Especially because I'll use my son as an example. Almost at every particular point in time, there are things that he will eat for. If you don't give him that thing, he would rather go hungry. If you give him if he's very, very hungry, he will eat about 2 spoons of anything to fill his stomach a little bit, and after that, he won't eat anything else. If you try to force him, he will not eat. You take it and we call it what do they call it? Pocketing. Pocket it in his mouth like this. You can do anything.
He won't swallow it.
Whatever you do, he will not swallow.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're torn between, do I give him the things that he likes to eat and he will actually eat and grow? Well, actually, you shouldn't be torn. If you're dealing with your child and your child would rather lose all of half of his body weight or eat something that he actually likes to eat, it's a no-brainer. The decision is simple. So yes, try not to force it. If it's not harmful, let them be.
Hi, if you just join us, this is Comfy and Unfiltered podcast. I want to introduce you to something that my friend just hooked me on. I'm going to show you in a bit. Okay, let's get to it. So, this is a devotional calendar. This has a lot of Bible quotations also. Every month you just open, like every day. So let's say today is January 5th, you open it up, whatever is there is going to encourage you and make your day better. And this is by Rachel Want, and I want to give you her website so you can go buy it on her website. Her website is www.wantstore.com. That is wantstore.com by Rachel Want. Her name is Watango, but we all say Want because Watango is long for me. Yes. So this is the daily devotional calendar. I want you to go to a storefront and get one for yourself, get one for your office, for your bestie, your husband, your doctor. Whenever you go into your doctor's visit, just say, hey, I got this for you. If I can even get some for Dr. Lewis here.
Send me the money.
Yeah. Oh no, he won't. He will use also to buy equipment. Yeah, so this is Coffee and Unfiltered. I'm here with Dr. Louis. He is a psychologist and also works with individuals with autism, ADHD, and what else?
Learning disorder,
everything from children. So get him booked, go call him,
don't. So
don't.
I told you this the last time we met.
I am not. No, he doesn't.
I'm not accepting patients or anything. Like, I do this. This is my contribution to the society. I do some of these podcasts. I do speaking engagements.
Yeah, so they should get you booked, not for
the speaking engagements. Okay,
they should get you booked.
By all means, as for that one, I will accept.
Yeah.
If you need me to come and speak on your podcast, speak to your members of your church, your small community, whatever it is, get me booked. I'll send you my rate card.
Yes. We are talking about autism. So there is this story I want us to talk about. There is this woman that her husband is accusing her of the cause of their child's autism because the husband had traveled when she got into labor, and when they went, she had issues trying to give birth. So the doctor opted is either you get a CS or not, you're going to lose your life and probably lose the child. So the lady signed all the documents and did the CS. When the man came, the man is accusing her that, one, she didn't act like an Hebrew woman that give birth the regular way. Two, their kid has autism, and because she opted for CS, she's the cause of her daughter's issue, and because of that, this man has been tormenting this woman. So my question here, does CS cause autism?
No. Okay. The first question is, I think the first question you should ask me is this man a fool?
Let me say it right. The
fancy sounds worse. The fancy sounds worse. But like, to do this to your wife who has recently had a child, and because I think it's important to recognize that I don't know anybody who gets pregnant when there are no complications whatsoever and decides right from day one, as for this child, I'm going to have a C-section.
Yes, C-section.
Right, that's one. Yeah. Number two, your wife went in there to have vaginal delivery. It's due to complications. That's why they had to opt for a C-section. Right. So assuming, without admitting, that is a CS that caused the autism, like, what was your wife supposed to do? Die? Right, risk her own life, risk the child's life. Like, what was she supposed to do when the doctor said, hey, the way things are going, if we don't do a CS, we may lose both of you? What was she supposed to do? Right? And if really all she could do was do the CS, even if the CS is what caused the concerns, again, what was she supposed to do?
She's alive and your baby's alive.
You understand? So it's nonsense behavior to be maltreating your wife because she had a C-section. Again, she didn't wake up and say, like, C-section is the way I want to do,
and go through that pain.
I want to do this birth. You understand? So I feel like a man who would do that to you, was going to do, and so for this woman, I'm so sorry you have to go through this, and I hope things improve for you. I hope you get a better support system than this person, Because this person is honestly, I think he's looking for an excuse to work. He's looking for a reason to work out on the family.
Oh yes, because it's hard. It comes with a lot of responsibility. Yeah.
To raise a child with autism, there are levels to it, right? But raising a child with autism is a lot. Like as a parent, you have to be willing to grow, to do things differently. Because once again, there will be a lot of things that even like. Let's take a child with level 1 autism, no other concerns, right? Because their brains work quite differently. There will be a lot of things that your child will do that you won't understand. Right? So you as a parent has to, one, educate yourself a little bit more about autism and also do things differently, like raise that child differently, especially differently from how you were raised, from how you see your friends raise their kids. And that means that the challenge is on you to grow and be better. If you're not ready for that, you have failed even before the game started. So there are many parents who are not ready for that. And they don't want to, and in their minds, so this is going to be us for the rest of our life. Like, I have to be doing this for the rest of my life. And see, if I cannot do that, then I have to leave, right? And I can't just leave.
Yes.
I have to blame you small, find a way to put the blame on you, so I can convince myself that I'm doing the right thing by
walking away.
Non-Hebrew woman.
Non-Hebrew.
I am not going to be yoked. I am this person. I'm on equally yoked. I'm not going to be yoked with this non-Hebrew woman.
Wow.
Then he would walk away. I feel very, very sorry for this woman, but that story is very common. Many people have experienced that. Like, oh, it's your fault. It's in your family. Blah blah blah. It's like, what was I supposed to do?
Yeah, you have no control.
Assuming without admitting that, again, it's the person's family. There's a genetics of autism, right? One, you probably know that, right? You probably should have known that before the relationship. But two, again, what was I supposed to do? And now that you're complaining, what am I supposed to do with my
As you're complaining. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, I guess to bring it back to the question, the studies out there debunk the idea that CS causes autism, debunk the idea that, what are some of the other things that people say cause autism? The CS is like vaccines.
Yeah, vaccines.
The data does not support, does not support those things.
And some people say the food with chemicals that they use causes autism.
So when it comes to the causes of autism, right? There isn't one thing. The research is still ongoing. There are people hard at work, doing studies to try to see if we can find more information. But like, there are so many things that have been correlated to it.
Yeah.
So toxins in our foods, toxic metals and stuff like that have been known to have a significant connection to autism. But
it's not guaranteed.
So it's not as if everyone or even most people who eat a certain kind of food get autism. Right?
Okay.
If we could nail that down, then we'll say, okay, don't eat this food when you're pregnant, or don't eat food if you're trying to have a child, right? So but there's nothing like that. So it's tricky, But I mean, once again, as a parent or as a person who is living your life, if you can, as much as possible, eat organic food, eat, foods that don't have so many chemicals to it. If you can eat raw vegetables as opposed to canned things that have all these preservatives, great. Now, will it make you healthier? Absolutely. Will it make your pregnancy healthier? I believe so. Now, can I sit here and say if you do that, your child will not have autism? I can't say that, right? Yeah. So it's a good thing to do, for other things. But I can't say it will prevent your child from having autism or ADHD or anything like that. Sometimes you can do all of those things, and on the day of the pregnancy, on the day of birth, there is, oxygen, oxygen doesn't go to the child's brain at a certain level, and then they come out with something, like, things happen.
Yeah.
So sometimes you do your absolute best, and I always recommend that do your absolute best, but that's all you can.
And let God do the rest.
That's why you are the pastor.
And you are the doctor. So from the scientific
nice rhyme. You are the pastor and I am the doctor.
Yo. There's a myth that alcohol causes autism.
Alcohol. As in drinking
while you're pregnant.
Again, we haven't drawn that connection
yet.
But alcohol causes something. It's called fetal alcohol syndrome.
Okay,
Drinking
yes.
While you're pregnant it's a high chance that will lead to fetal alcohol syndrome. But it's an easy problem to fix, right? I don't know, why would you be, especially if you know you're pregnant.
Yes.
Come on now. If you know you're pregnant, why would you be drinking while you're pregnant? Why would you?
But some people are just hooked on it and they can't. But then it doesn't.
Like, I know many people
it's not what causes it.
When they're trying to have kids and they have all of these things, they go to rehab or stuff like that to get off of those things. And there's some people who can stop for the time that they're pregnant or the time that they're breastfeeding, and sometimes they go back to it, But so autism alcohol usage during pregnancy has not been connected to autism, but fetal alcohol syndrome definitely has been connected, and that's not great either, right? So you don't want to risk your
child also, yeah. I'm just mentioning some of the myths that I've heard out there. Oh, some people say autism is curable. Is it? Or is manageable?
Very, very not very, very. Autism is manageable, not curable.
Not curable.
So again, autism primarily, like the autism itself, it's more like a brain difference. Like your brain works differently, right? So at the baseline, it's just that this person's brain works differently. So in many cases, sometimes the conversation isn't about caring, it's about how do I live and make life as comfortable as possible for my child who has autism. So
let me say it in a way that somebody, like, how do you help rewire your kid's brain? Can we say like that?
More like, how do you help yourself understand your child better, right? So think about this.
Okay.
When it comes to autism, ADHD, and stuff like that, think about being left-handed in this society, right? If you're going somewhere, the door is like this, right? If you're left-handed, you have to do this.
Yes.
You understand? I remember when I worked at McDonald's, our fry scoop was right-handed. So if you're left-handed, now you have to do this and try to fix your fries like this, and it was quite hard, right?
Yeah.
It's not made for you, So if then there are about 10%. If it's wrong, somebody help me. There are 10% of people in the world that are left-handed, and for those people, the society, a lot of things are hard. But if you are not left-handed, you won't even notice that these things are going on, right? So sometimes for people with ADHD and autism, it's more like the way the world is set up doesn't work for them. So as a parent, what you do is, especially for example, like if you have a left-handed child, that means that if you are doing certain things around the house, you try to make it in a way that your child can have easy access to. So if it's a door, if you can get double doors where with me I say easily to get it. I remember when I was at McDonald's, at some point they brought us a fry scoop that had two handles, so that if you're left-handed, you can still do what you got to do, right? So this is how I think about it. Make as much as possible, make accommodations to your life, to your environment, to your friendships, so your child doesn't have to change too much. Right? Because it would be unfair. You remember, I don't know, when I was growing up in Ghana, if you write with your left hand, they are beating you.
Yes.
The right hand.
They're like, the left hand is for stuff that are unwanted.
That's nonsense, right? So sometimes, if it doesn't cause any harm, let your child be. If your child wants to write with their left hand, let them write. If they want to eat with their left hand, let them eat. If whatever it is that they're trying to use their left hand to do, if for some reason it causes there is danger, then you can spend your time addressing that thing.
Yes.
So if you have a child with autism, many of the things that you can do is just kind of learning to understand them better, learning to make life a little easier for them. There will be things that may be dangerous. Like one of the things that comes with autism is elopements. Elopements, like you'll be working with them, and the average maybe 5-year-old knows that you don't just run away from your parent, but the child with autism may not necessarily know. So you're with them, and then they see something
they're interested in,
right? So that is dangerous. You don't want them to keep doing it. So that means that maybe for the start, when you're working with them everywhere, you're constantly holding their hand when you probably wouldn't have to worry about that with a 5-year-old, a typical kid. So I get trying to get them to change from that. Sometimes they may throw tantrums, they may get aggressive,
IBs and stuff.
You don't want that, right? So you can do what you have to do to manage that. But some of the other things that are more kind of stemming behavior and stuff like that they do to soothe themselves. Like, well, I don't want people to see that when he's doing that in public. So, and when they're doing it and it doesn't hurt anything, and you are going at them for the thing that doesn't even matter, right? At this point, it's more about you and your comfort level about your own child. Because if you are giving your child grief about this, you can't then make it sound like it's because of what people will say, because you're saying it too. You understand? Like, why are you,
feeding into it,
because you're worried about what people will say. Mom, I'm worried more about what you think about me. Dad, I'm worried more about how you treat me. Right?
So it starts even from the home, that the stigma out there starts from the home. Because if, like, for me, I used to fidget a lot, and sometimes when I'm anxious, I do it. So I'll get myself those like fidget thing that I have one that is like a peanut. You push it, and then I have a squishy. So like some days you see me put my hands in my pocket. It's not that I want to put my hand in my pocket. I want to squeeze my hand in my pocket. So you have to provide certain things that, and a toy. Or the diagro, say no diagro, cover your child's shame, not quote unquote, that you don't sound on tear away my now on tear like that. The moment the child keeps on hearing, now they hide to do it, and then it becomes something hurtful. Like I've seen people that they will bite their fingers when they are anxious, and if you don't do it, instead of maybe giving them a gloves or something, but I tell you, you see my hand here, maybe hear
me dear. So you make great points there, and I think sometimes the best thing to do as a parent is to surround yourself with people who don't make you want to either lie or
hide,
even hurt your child because you want them to stop, so that when you're around these people they don't talk nonsense. You understand? Because our community can be quite judgmental, and our community sometimes also, we don't have boundaries, so they don't know that this is not their place to say. Like, why is your child doing this? Like, mind your business. It's like, no, it's not your business. Why are you asking me about this? What do you care? And even when for me, my least favorite part of it is when you say, leave him alone, he has autism, it's part of his autism. They will say things like, and don't say that don't use the word that his, like, it's like you are claiming it. Don't put that diagnosis on it's like, you think you love my child more than it's like, back off, so like, we have been lucky, our circle of friends, we don't have to explain anything to anybody. Like sometimes all they do is like, where's Lion today? And there he is.
Leave him alone. He's in his word.
We'll do our thing, so we can still spend time with our friends and do things with our friends because we know them. There's been other people, that when we go around them, they say certain things like, I would rather disappoint you than give my child all of this pressure, because there's so many people, especially kids with autism, ADHD especially, who grow up with a lot of anxiety, depression, sometimes PTSD, and it's mostly from home because his brain is saying, I cannot do this. Mom is beating you, dad is beating you, because like you have to do it. And after all, that's like consistent trauma, because again, my brain almost itches if I don't do this. And it doesn't affect anything, but parents don't want to be embarrassed, so then like they're beating you to stop, and stuff like that. So yeah, I know it's tough to do. I don't know if your audience knows it. I have 2 kids on the autism spectrum. My son Lion is now 7. Yeah, Lion is 7 now. He's still not talking yet, right? My daughter is going on 5. She's giving us small words, but she's also on the autism spectrum. So sometimes when I speak about these things, I don't want people feeling like, it's easy for you to say. No, I live it.
It's not.
Right? I live it. But that also means that we have had to consistently educate ourselves and work on our own patience, work on our own understanding, figure out ways to better deal with them, and invest as much as we can to help them. So for this morning, I was actually thinking about it. Our the fence in our backyard cost us almost 8,000. We are still paying for it because we had to use Home Depot credit card. But then the good thing about the fence is, now that the weather is nice, when he's running around and you say,
bought it,
you send him out there, because you can send him out there 2 hours, do his own thing, burn out all of his energy, and by the time he gets back,
he's ready to sleep.
And he's a little calmer. He's not throwing tantrums, because when you have freedom, but the fence helps us keep it safe. Somebody will say, I'm not investing that much money into a fence. Somebody will go and use this $8,000 to go and build a house in Ghana. I'm not coming for you. I'm just saying I would rather use
to protect the kid, because
my child here,
like you said, the brain is working differently, and their brain doesn't shut down, because there is always something going on, like something that I need to do. So if you're protecting them, you're protecting yourself too, because you can be having police in your house, especially here, to answer questions. So yeah, that helps. This is Comfy and Unfiltered. We're gonna be wrapping up soon. What are some of the myths that you've heard that shocks you?
Well, at this point, to be honest, nothing shocks me anymore. Right? But the ultimate shocker is it was more prevalent in like when I was younger, the Insuba thing, where at the time, actually, when the child was born and they saw any kind of difference, or deformities or whatever it is, they would take the child to the forest and shoot the sky, almost inviting the gods to come and take their child. And in their minds, the gods took the child. The child died of starvation, and negligence. That's what happened. That the child didn't. The gods didn't come for them, right? And if you know that there was a time when that happened, like what else? So, and I mean, I've heard people on the social media. I've heard people accuse parents whose child, whose children have autism, like you had a child with autism, so that the state will give you money and stuff like that. It's like that's the one that.
Do you go to the hospital to choose?
At that point, it's just ignorant. It's just nonsense talk. Like, what do you mean?
Whoa!
You're sitting there. How much money can somebody promise you for you to say, okay, fine?
I want to go through this.
I want to have a child with autism. It's like it's nonsense talk. But and also like this in many cases, if the state gives you any support at all, it's because of, for example, the school that our child attends. It's a school specialized for children on the spectrum. The school fees or the tuition there is $32,000 a year. Your child goes to public school free. My child's tuition is $32,000 a year. If the government gives me $32,000 to pay for that, you say I had a child so that the government will give me money.
And they're getting all the resources.
Your child is free. My child now goes to school for free. That's it.
That's it. Yeah, it's the same at the crewmate.
Exactly. So that's nonsense. It wasn't even a surprise. It was just annoying.
Yeah.
But apart from that, not a whole lot of shockers. And I'm all for somebody who may have heard something and actually is open to hearing differently, right, and learning something about it. But the person who has said, "Oh, it's like this," is like, like I'm not arguing with you about any of these things. Yeah.
So on this note, those watching us from the other part of the world that do not have resources like the US, the UK, and other countries, what are some of the resources online that they can have access to read, to know what they need to do, like other pages or other people that they can follow, to including you, to learn from all these things? Because somebody cannot afford a therapist, but then can know that, hey, if my child, I've studied my child to know that he has the sensory needs, so I can buy him like a weighted blanket, or I can just maybe dim my light up a little bit, maybe just get him some headphones, all those things. So what are some of the resources?
Unfortunately, sometimes raising a child with autism can be very expensive. That's the honest truth. Because I remember when we lived in our other apartment, it was a 2-bedroom apartment with a basement, like half finished. For most people, that works. Yeah. Right? A family of 4, the kids can be in one room, parents in one room. We have a 1.5 bath. Like it's a decent. But at that time, our son, if you put him down and there's no time for him to sleep yet, he would jump until his time has reached.
Neighbors.
One of the things that we realized is, so it's a townhome, so we didn't have upstairs or downstairs neighbors or anything. But what happened was, if you're in the same room with him, you won't sleep.
Yes.
So you wake up in the morning with 2-3 hours of sleep. So we had to invest in getting a home that was big enough for him to have his own room, far from our room. So that's as long as he's safe, we are fine. We can get our sleep, right? So sometimes you have to invest in a way that makes them comfortable, makes you comfortable. So unfortunately, I mean, there are levels to the investment that you can make, yes, but unfortunately,
it's still investment.
So if I tell you today that there is some resources that will be completely free, you don't even have to put in effort, because even if you have to, especially if you're in a place like Ghana, even if you have to go to YouTube to watch a video like this, it's
you need data. Yes.
So investment, Nadia, unfortunately, no, it will be there. So yes, I mean, if you go on YouTube and you type "raising a child with autism," many videos will pop up, right? And if you find the ones who are reputable and trained in them, then you can use those. For those of you who are on TikTok, and I always tell people this: if you come on TikTok and you go and listen to the people insulting other people, and then you come on my platform and you think my video on autism is too long, at this point, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, because you spend an hour and 30 minutes listening on Agrada issues.
Listening to all of those things, but you can't spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes on my video to understand autism a little bit better. So that would be your investment. So I think especially for people who would have access to these videos, when you come on the internet, the places to go, search for it, you will find some of those resources. And I mean, there's been times when people have inboxed me with questions. When I have time, I respond to them. And for my platform like this, I do lives every so often. I don't have a schedule, so I can't give anybody a time to show up, right? But I do lives, and when people come on, they would ask me questions, and I'll share, some of these ideas with them. So I think, again, for anybody who has access to these things, then your number one resource is when you come on social media, find the right places to go to, and then spend your time there to build yourself especially as a parent, because that is half the battle, to be honest. When you do understand your child and you recognize that your child isn't a bad kid who is trying to upset you, it's half the battle.
Yes.
Because now everything that you do is to try to figure out how best to make them comfortable, make you comfortable, make them happy, make you happy.
And especially everything they're doing is a form of communication, so you get to figure out what are they trying to tell me, what is it, are they sick, are they hungry. You get to know all that, and it helps. Because I've seen a lot of parents crying and very upset about life, like they were like, I just want to die, I don't even know what my kid want. I'm like, just we your friend, what's her name, doctor, she's getting with Dr. Alice.
She graduated. She did her final thing, I think, 2 days ago. So
Dr. Alice will say, I'm gonna hold your hands and tell you that we love you, we know what you're going through, but invest and get to know your child. I wanted to ask something. What was it?
Let me add something to that briefly. So when you are in, you have to, actually I lost it there. You have to invest in your child. There's that. But what I was saying is, I've told people this before. If you approach your relationship with your child or your parenting from, my child is struggling with something, how best can I help them, right? And so it could be your child throwing a tantrum or doing something annoying, right? If the idea is, my child is struggling with something, how best can I help them? Your approach is a lot different from the way now, because if it's always you feeling like
aggressive,
they are being a bad kid and stuff like that, then you meet that aggression. But if you're feeling struggle, so then you get more open-minded to try to figure out what's going on with them. I remembered what I was trying to say.
Yes.
There are some situations where it feels bleak, like your child, there's autism level 3, they have Down syndrome, they're not talking, blah blah blah, and it feels like in your mind, like sometimes it feels like the most my child could ever be is still not something that they'll come and take care of me or anything like that. I get that. I get as a parent, where when you're in that place, it's tough, and when you need to cry, please cry. Cry all you want, and hopefully after that you get back on the grind, and then you keep doing what you got to do. So one of the things that has helped me significantly when it comes to my parenting is I'm trying to make it about them and their happiness, to give them as much of a comfortable, happy life as possible, and a little less about me. Because the minute you try thinking into way obenyini
share me worry
my grandkids is now, like, so you are here today and you are worried for 20 years in the future, right? And sometimes, like, that's what causes a lot of the struggle. I recognize that the today of it is
the most
right. It's tough. So if you're crying because of the today, reasonable, right? And you get up and you go back to what you need to do. But if you're crying because 20 years from now they won't come and take care of you and stuff like that, change the perspective a little bit and let it be how best can I give them and myself as peaceful a life as possible today, tomorrow, and you take it one day at a time. You take it one day at a time.
Yeah. Can I be a pastor for a little minute? So God does not give us anything that we cannot handle.
And it's tough, but sometimes like
yeah, because God knows that this that I'm giving you are able to steward over it for me. So no child is a trouble or a mistake. No child is here to like, oh my Bonington, that's not how God is paying you for it. It's just God knows that you'll be able to bring the best out of this person. Like you say, you give them the comfort that they need. So that's one thing I want to say. And also from my experience with people with autism and individual with autism is they are so special and they have uniqueness about them, and I'm like, it's like, God, you give them different brain, like they have what, like I know a kid that at 4 years is writing Chinese, is writing Arabic, is speaking Spanish, is doing all that, not because somebody's teaching him. The brain is just, and they are so smart. So know that it's not a burden. There is something good in them that you need to shape in it, and it's gonna be amazing for you. I know that what's his name is autistic. The guy with Facebook. Mark, yes, he's on the spectrum.
I've heard about it.
Yes, Elon too is on the spectrum. That's what I heard. But these are great people. Even we don't know their levels.
I don't know about Elon Musk, but
their levels, whatever it is, there's something uniqueness in them or unique about them. I know a kid that can play like the organist, like he's playing for the orchestra. He's young, so find that thing that your child is interested in. The lady in Ghana, Jenny with autism, know that this kid loves to dress. I'm gonna dress her up and take pictures. She's a model. I'm gonna make brand deals out of her. So know what your child can do, shaping it, and you get money, you get that recognition, you get that, let that kid live life as you live life. So that's what I was gonna add.
And now let me be a doctor for a moment.
Yeah.
So it's tricky, right? Because sometimes it doesn't feel like you can handle it, right? So it's like, God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers, but sometimes you're like, dude, bro, I need you to cancel my name from this year.
I'm a drawing.
Exactly. So there are times when it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah.
So it's tough and it's okay, right? And then there also, it's not every child that has that special interest, right?
Okay.
Because when I was going through the symptoms, I mentioned 7 of them altogether. That's restricted interest that sometimes can lead to that, kind of specialty about them. It's not everybody that has that.
Okay.
So sometimes also for people with autism, for people raising kids with autism, it's like everybody keeps saying their child has something special. Mine doesn't. It's like, how come media, even the one thing that is supposed to
be nice, it doesn't have it?
Right? So it can be tricky.
Yeah.
So as much as possible, like it's tough.
It's tough. Oh my God.
Right. But really, in my mind at least, like when I've had my tough days, in my mind quickly goes to, well, what's the alternative? What am I going to do? Be sad every day for life? So my brain, I'm always thinking, what are some of the things that I can do to make all of our lives as smooth as possible? And then when I get to the days where, okay, today feels too much and I need to cry, I cry it out, right? And this is, I guess, it's also a nice reminder to the parents, especially the fathers who walk away. If it's so hard that you want to walk away,
and leave it on the woman,
leave that to somebody to do it alone. Right? If you recognize how hard it is, your best bet is for the two of you to do it together.
Yeah.
So to walk away from that is not good. I don't want to call anybody names.
Yeah, today we are being good.
Yeah, I'm being very nice today. So please don't walk away. Stay and do it together. Like your child and your spouse, there's a much better chance when you do it together.
All right, we're gonna wrap up. My name is Ohemaa Nana Ama. This is Comfy and Unfiltered, and I'm going to use the word was here with Dr. Louis Appiah-Kubi. He's a psychologist and someone that, how do you say, a doctor for ADHD and autism. Did I say it right?
Yeah, so we don't have a name for that part.
But
that's my specialty area.
Yeah, so he specializes with autism, assessing autism and ADHD. And we're going to be talking about ADHD very soon because I'm a pro, and me and him, we're going to fight over it. So he's going to be here another time. Stay blessed and go get your daily dose of the word at www.onestore.com. I hope I said it right before she kicks me up.
And while you're looking for it,
yes,
if you had a great time with this, I spend most of my time on TikTok, so go to Dr. Louis. If you type Dr. Louis Psychologist on TikTok, I'll pop up and hit the follow button, and we can continue interacting from there. I have so many videos on autism, ADHD, and stuff like that, so hopefully you can learn a thing or two over there.
Yes, I was going to get you, but yay. So the website is onestore.com, WANTTSTORE.com. Go get a copy, and I believe it's $20 a piece, so that's not expensive. That's like McDonald's money. So go get one, and then you will be blessed. Thank you so much for coming. I'm just excited to have you here, and you're gonna be here next time. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye.
Peace out. Yay.